Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 favourite movies of 1981. 1981 is another great year for cinema. It has a lot of, great films, some important films. So let's get to it. Here are my top 10 personal favourite movies of 1981. And as always, before your top 10 list, you gotta have your honourable mentions. And my honourable mentions are Rover Dangerfield, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, An American Tail 5 Goes West, Child's Play 3, The Fisher King, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Great films, just couldn't make a top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 is my number 10, which is The Rocketeer. Watched this for the first time quite recently, and it's another great live-action Disney film, and maybe even one of the most underrated ones. It's directed by Joe Johnston, who is a very underrated director, who you might know as the director of Jumanji, Jurassic Park 3, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Captain America: The First Avenger. And I love how it's this kind of like old school setting superhero film with a hero flying with his rocket. The acting's great from Timothy Dalton, Jennifer Connelly, I think her name is, that's right, and Alan Arkin, and overall it's a great classic, definitely check it out. Coming at number 9 is Point Break. Point Break is an action film that stars Keanu Reeves as an FBI agent as Johnny Utah, and Patrick Swayze as a bank robber called Body, I think his name is. But I love how it's this action surfing bank robbing movie where Johnny goes undercover because he knows the surfers are robbing banks. The quotes are badass and the action scenes are high octane. I love every second of Point Break. Anyways, number 8 is Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear. Cape Fear is another great Martin Scorsese film starring Robert De Niro as a convicted rapist called Max Cody. I forgot his name, the character's name. I think it's Max something, who gets released from prison and is about to seek revenge on his former defense attorney called Sam Bowden, played by Nick Nolte. It's a very shocking and brutal film, but still fucking great. It's another one of my favorite Martin Scorsese films, so yeah. Number 7 is Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. This is the one where Nicholas Meyer returns to direct, since before this he directed my favourite Star Trek film, The Wrath of Khan, and it's the last one in the original film series before the Next Generation films and the rebooted films. But it's still an awesome and epic Star Trek film, though I still consider Wrath of Khan my personal favourite of the original films, but this one's still good, and it has Christopher Plummer in it as well, so that's another great thing about it. Anyways, number 6 is Hook. Hook. Hook is definitely one of Steven Spielberg's most underrated films, and definitely one of my favourite Peter Pan movies, up there with the 1953 Disney version, the 2003 movie, and Finding Neverland if you count that. Great cast, like you got Robin Williams as an older version of Peter Pan, Dustin Hoffman as Captain Hook, Bob Hoskins as Mr. Smee, Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell, and Maggie Smith as an elderly Wendy Darling. But I love how it's this story about what if Peter Graham grew up, and I love the costume and set designs, effects, there's a lot of funny scenes, lovable characters, beautiful John Williams score, and yeah, it's a great movie, I love Hook. Anyways, number 5 is probably one of the most underrated films of 1981, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. This is definitely probably also one of the most underrated Robin Hood movies. Still one of my favourites, up there with, again, the Disney version and Robin Hood Men in Tights. I still need to see The Adventures of Robin Hood along with some others, but again, this one's great. Again, good cast, Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Alan Rickman, and Christian Slater, just to name a few. The story is epic in this one, and I even enjoyed the Brian Adams soundtrack. Everything I do, I do it for you. So yeah, great film. Number 4 is The Addams Family. The Addams Family is one of my favourite films to watch. Whenever I can during Halloween season. The Addams are one of my favourite fictional families, and while I do like the animated Addams Family film from 2019, believe it or not, I kind of prefer this one more because I've talked about it a lot before, and then I did a cast for a spoof for it, which I might update at some point, but yeah, Addams Family is one of my favourites. Anyways, coming at number 3 is The Silence of the Lambs, Best Picture winner of 1981, and one of the greatest psychological horror thriller films ever made, and, probably the only one to ever win Best Picture at the Oscars, which is an achievement. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, both amazing performances. They deserve to win Oscars for their performances too. Every scene with these two characters are the best parts of it, and so yeah, it's intense, but it's really good, and I'm glad it won Best Picture. But coming at number 2 is one of my favourite sequels of all time, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Definitely one of the best action sequels ever made. Arnold Schwarzenegger returns as the Terminator himself, only this time to protect future resistance leader John Connor and not to kill his mum. That's a great step up from the original film, which is also good, but this one is arguably even better. James Cameron's direction is still fantastic. The CGI effects in their early stages are very well done. And yeah, Judgment Day is one of the best, man. But number 1 is one of my favourite Disney films, which is Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is easily my favourite movie of 1981 because I grew up with it the most and I've talked about it the most. It's one of the greatest Disney films of all time. It's one of those ones that always makes me happy and puts a smile on my face. Belle is one of the most compelling Disney princesses out there. The songs always put a smile on my face. They always make me happy, like I said. Gaston is one of the best Disney villains, and it's the best animated film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Again, that's also another achievement. And again, I've talked a lot about Beauty and the Beast, so I don't really need to say anything else that hasn't been said already. So yeah, those are my top 10 favourite movies of 1981. What are yours? Tell me down in the comments, and until next time, take care.
The moon, the bear, and the big blue house will be waiting for you to come and play. Come and play. Come and play. Bye now.